מבקר בהיכלו.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shana Tova. Who are we? We are the few, the proud, the mighty, the spiritually strong, and perhaps the Meshuggah, the most anxious about being inscribed in the book of life. Some of us summoned to this place because we love Shabbat and because this home, whether it is a tent or a sanctuary, is our home. Some of us are here because we have heavy hearts to unburden, people for whom we want to pray for healing, loved ones who we want to remember with the comfort of our tradition to hold us and guide us. Others are here because it is joyful to be reconnecting with community, and we maybe felt that impact of being together again on the new year. So first of all, Isaac Sonnet Asor, our wonderful cantorial intern, and Pete Malinverni at the piano, and I all wish you a Shabbat Shalom and a Shana Tova. Tonight is not just any Shabbat, it is Shabbat Shuvah, the special Sabbath in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, so named for the theme of the season, Shuvah, turning and returning. Both a spiritual act and a calendrical act. We are returning to that home page of Jewish time, which of course is the Jewish New Year. It's a reset, but it's also an inward reset opportunity for us. And therefore the liturgy makes sure that we are paying attention to the themes of the season by dropping in a few extra lines and prayers and melodies as we go. We'll do our best to point these out. For instance, when we arrive at the Amidah, the standing portion of the service, we'll direct your attention to special lines that are recited on this Shabbat and only on this Shabbat, inviting God to keep open that Sefer Chaim, the book of life, so that we might continue to inscribe ourselves for blessing. Because we are here tonight as the few, the mighty, the proud, the strong, please feel free to kind of just be yourself. If you want to move closer, you can move closer. You want to step outside the tent to daven a little bit, that's okay too. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So we would like, in that spirit, to invite the entire congregation to participate in a spiritual act of candle lighting. We're not going to ask all of you to come up onto the bima, but perhaps we can all stand and generate a little bit of inner light and warmth that will be reflected in the glow of our Shabbat candles as we sing together.
Oh, hear my prayer, I sing to you. Be gracious to the ones I love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. As the dark new moon of the head of the year begins to wax, may this growing light grant each of us assurance of this new year's promise and potential. The words of Marge Piercy. Forgive the dead year. Forgive yourself. What will be wants to push through your fingers. The light you seek hides in your belly. The light you crave longs to stream forth from your eyes. You are the moon that will wax in new goodness. Or Zarua Latzadik, may we sow new light in righteousness. Page 132.
It's the last stanza of our text.
Na 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 na. Try with me. Na 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 na. Page 138. Ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 nikat kala, ya la 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 b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabel, ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 nikat kala. La 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 b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, yishmiyanu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet, ben lithilah. Ya la 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 elecha adoni, ya la 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 likat kala. La 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 b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor haberacha. la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, l'chadodi, ya la 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 la, likrat kala, ya la 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 la, b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 5. Itoreri, ki ba'orech umiori, uri shedaberi. Kavod Adonai, alayich nigla. Ya la la, ya la 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 la, l'chadodi. Ya la 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 la, likrat kala. Ya la 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 la, b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, לקראת כלה, יא לה 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 לה, בני שבת, בני שבת נקבלה.
146.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. Page 150, you may be seated. אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha ve'shinantam levanecha ve'divaretam בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
So how do you know that it's Shabbat Shuvah without looking at a Jewish calendar? You can just use your five senses, okay? Look around and recognize that the season is the cusp between summer and fall. Nature tells us when we are, roughly speaking. Look in the air, as Isaac said, and you'll see the new moon just starting to wax. That tells you how close you are to the beginning of Tishrei. Use your sense of smell and taste. Apples and honey, crisp fall leaves, the sensation of weather that is about 60 degrees and not 80 or 40. But mostly use your ears. Listen to the way Cantor sings Micha Mocha, and you'll know what season it is, because certain melodies weave their way into the service only at the season of return. 158.
Micha Mocha Bailim Adonai, Micha Mocha Nedar Bakodesh, Norat Eilot Tosef Ele, Malchutecha, Ra'u Vanecha, Okei Hayam Nifnei Moshe uMiriam, Te'ili Anu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, leshalom. חמידנו שומרנו לחיים ולשלום ולשלום השכיבנו השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום. As Jewish tradition marks the creation of the universe on Rosh Hashanah, the first Shabbat of the year truly lives up to its name as Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshit, a memorial to the act of creation. May this Oneg Shabbat be filled with the same wonder, the same wholeness as that first Shabbat in the Garden of Eden. May this year be a year of firsts for each of us. And as the year progresses, may we find a spark of newness in our routine moments. In the words of the poet Leah Goldberg, teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise. As each morning and night you renew your days, lest my day today be as the one before, lest routine set my ways. Page 162. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת, שבת, ויהי נפש ביני ובין בני ישראל. page 164. Adonai Sefatai Tiftach, Adonai Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai Sefatai Tiftach, Adonai Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu ve'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chasrei Avot ve'Imaot, U'mevii Geula Livnei Bneihem, Le'man Shemo be'ahava. Chaim, Melech Hafetz B'chaim, V'chodreinu b'Sefer HaChaim, Le'manecha Elohim Chaim, Zochreinu lechaim, Melech Hafetz B'chaim, V'chodreinu Sefer HaChaim, Le'manecha Elohim Chaim, Le'manecha, Le'mancha, Le'mancha Elohim Chaim, Le'mancha, Le'mancha, Le'mancha Elohim Chaim. Melech Uzer Moshiach U'Maken, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Tzara. Ata Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechayeh Hakol Ata Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal. Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh Hakol Verachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Mishenei Afar, Nichamo ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
אמן.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני המלך הקדוש. We continue on page 174.
Please feel welcome to be seated.
רצה אדוני אלוהינו בעמך ישראל ותפילתם באהבה תקבל ותהי לרצון תמיד עבודת ישראל. ישראל עמך אל קרוב לכל קוראיו פני אל עבדיך וחוננו שפוך רוחך עלינו ותחזינה עינינו בשובך לציון. page 178. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. V'tov beinecha levarech et amecha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. בספר חיים ברכה ושלום, ברכה ושלום ופרנסה טובה, ברכה ושלום ניזכר וניכתב לפניך. אנחנו וכל עמך בית ישראל לחיים טובים ולשלום. ברוך אתה אדוני עושה השלום. One of my favorite moments of the holidays here at WRT is listening to Cantor Kleinman sing Unatana Tokef with music by Yair Rosenblum. The music and our cantor's interpretation capture both the text's mood of awe and internal searching. In the setting's opening recitative, there is a moment of sharp contrast, a declaration followed by a whisper. V'chotev v'chotem v'sofer umoneh v'tizkor et kol hanishkachot v'tiftach et sefer hazichronot. You write and seal, record and count, and may you remember all that has been forgotten, and may you open the book of memories. Throughout these high holy days, these days of awe, our liturgy is completely preoccupied with memory, visualized as entries in a divine book. Zochreinu lechaim, melech hafetz b'chaim, v'chotvenu b'sefer hachayim, lemancha Elohim chayim. Remember us for life, O ruler who delights in life. Inscribe us in the book of life for your sake, our living God. And we continue, Mi chamocha el harachamim zocher yetzurav. Who is like you, God of compassion? In your compassion, remember your creations for life. These lines are inserted into every single service from Rosh Hashanah through Yom Kippur. And in fact, there are two more petitions to be remembered and inscribed into the book of life, added to our daily prayers of gratitude and, as we just prayed together, for peace. In Jewish texts, this book is no mere symbol, no mere casual holiday greeting. To merit inscription in the book of life or to be erased from it is quite literally a matter of life and death. We first encounter the notion of a divine record in the book of Exodus, as Moses advocates on behalf of the Israelites following the sculpting of the golden calf. If you will not forgive their sin, mecheni na misifrecha asher katavta, erase me from the record which you have written. And in the first actual instance of the phrase Sefer Chaim, the psalmist pleads that his enemies be erased from the book, not inscribed with the righteous. To be written, to be remembered, is to live. Therefore, these opening verses from Unatan and Tokef and our daily petitions to be remembered and inscribed for life pull us out of our daily actions and immediate worries. The to-do list, the inbox, the thesis deadline, my wife's due date. Though now I realize these may just be my immediate concerns. We are urged to consider the bigger picture. How will our lives be remembered? What will be our entry in the book of life? The 20th century German rabbi and Reform leader Leo Beck describes this Jewish sense of memory as a gift, uniting the artistic and the moral, a receptivity through which some of eternity enters the human essence. This people's Sabbath and festivals are not just ancient institutions, but they are evidences of a fundamental power to take a step backward as artists do, to view the totality of their work. This people stepped back from the work of days in order to see the path of the weeks, from the events of the months to see the journey of the years, and from the customs of the era in order to comprehend the enduring task. It acquired the ability to think in generations and live in generations, to look backward into the far reaches and to look forward into the great distances. While we might understand Rabbi Beck's words at some grand abstract level, it becomes harder to apply to our daily lives. What enormous pressure we put on ourselves if we operate as though our deeds must be great enough to be remembered generations into the future, or that every deed is to be remembered by the one who remembers all forgotten things. My teacher, and teacher to so many of today's rabbis and cantors, Rabbi Maggie Wenig, helps us to find our place in the book of life. We are part of an ongoing chain of humanity, of Jewish tradition, she writes. We are but one link, but the chain endures. Our lives are fleeting, but we may write books. We may compose music, make films, or make discoveries that will be remembered generations after we have died. Or we may teach students, who will teach students, who will teach students for generations to come. One single deed of loving kindness we perform may send ripples far into the future. Years after first reading this teaching, I still think about the ripples, the chain reactions that any of our deeds may set in motion, and their impact far beyond our awareness. Each little action has the possibility of being remembered by someone. That little verse in the book of life may well become someone's favorite. It may well be that our entry will inspire some future author, even as our own name, our own words fade with the passing years and generations. In this week's portion, we reach the end of Moses' extended efforts to compel his people to remember his words. And in his final act, Moses teaches all the Israelites a song recounting the people's relationship with their God. Take to heart all the words that I have taught you today, he instructs them. Teach them to your children that they may preserve the words of this teaching. And even as the Israelites struggle in the promised land and are ultimately scattered to the four corners of the earth, to where we are here today. It is this chain of teaching that has preserved the words Shema Yisrael. These words that were uttered near the end of the prophet's life, long after the great moments of his youth. Rabbi Wenig teaches that God grants Moses on his death perhaps the greatest of all gifts for Moses or any of us, the gift of spiritual vision. What God shows Moses on his death is what all of Moses' long life of struggle and suffering is for. What we see when we see beyond what our physical eyes can see is that what we do matters. What we see then is that how we choose to live life makes all the difference, and that it is up to each of us to act in such a way that our actions lift and carry future generations towards their promised lands. I could read Rabbi Wenig's words all day. We actually get a weekly teaching that she writes for all of the fourth year High Holy Day recitals. They're such a gift, and it's just a pleasure to get to share these words with you. My prayer for each of us during these High Holy Days and every day is that we might be granted this spiritual vision, to live with the understanding that our days create ripples both in our time and far into the future, beyond what we can physically perceive. May each daily entry in the book become someone else's favorite verse. Shabbat Shalom. And as we consider these ripples that may radiate from our deeds, may we offer a prayer for all those whose lives have enriched our own, those in need of renewal of body, mind, and spirit. May your love, your warmth, your thought help to bring them a measure of healing. If you are holding a loved one in your heart during this season of renewal, please, we invite you to share their name with our community at this time. Mary Lou Gordon Bird. And as a community, we add to these names our wishes of strength and comfort to Rachel Rackauer, Pam Howitt, Jennifer Leventhal, Roberta Friedman, Jeffrey Millman, Yisrael Ben Perel, Yochanan Ben Sipora, Marilyn Weiner, Judy Balsam, Larry Bassett, Esther Bat Mechel Vereisel, Leah Bat Nina Bat Benjamin, Rachel Brucha, Bruce Sharkey, Steve Gradzinski, Grace Neidish, Tony and Gina DeLappa, Matthew Atwood, Anthony and Elizabeth Dankner, Deborah Kapnick, Nicole Shusey, Neil Glassgall, Leah Greenspan, Masha Batsora, Andrew Goldstein, Ken Master, Chava Batzara, Eliyahu Chaim Ben Fredel, Sheila Fried, Malka Tzipora Bas Rachel, Tamar Bat Malka, Deborah Greenfield, Bonnie Shapiro, Heschel Meir Ben Davida Chana. The words of Misha Berach can be found in your prayer book on page 371. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Imo the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say May all who seek comfort find it. Our concluding prayers may be found on the bottom of page 586. Would the congregation please rise? Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tei kedula le'yotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד. ביום יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. ביום ההוא From The History of Love by Nicole Krauss. We always woke at 5 or 6 in the morning. It was a blazing hot January when he died. I wheeled his bed to the open window upstairs. The sun streamed in on us, and he threw back the covers and stripped off everything and got brown in the sun, as we did every morning before the nurse came in at 8 o'clock. I asked him, "Are you in pain?" And he said, "I've never been so comfortable in my life." And on that morning, we looked out at the sky, which was cloudless and brilliant. Tzvi had opened the book of Chinese poems he was reading to a poem he said was for me. It's very short. It begins, "Don't set sail. Tomorrow the wind will have dropped, and then you can go, and I won't trouble about you." On the morning he died, there had been a tremendous gale, a storm in the garden all night. But when I opened the window, there was the clear sky, not a drop of wind. I turned and called to him, "Darling, the wind has dropped." And he said, "Then I can go, and you won't trouble after me." I thought my heart would stop, but it was true. It was just like that. If you are honoring the memory of a loved one this evening, we invite you to rise and share their name with our community so that we might offer you our support. If you have laid your loved one to rest within the past week, within these past 30 days, within the past year, if this evening marks the anniversary of the loss of your loved one, our WRT community remembers all those who have been laid to rest in the past 30 days. Bruce Steinberg, husband of Eve Steinberg and father of Jeffrey, Daniel, and Philip Steinberg. Samuel Altman, brother of Joy Henschel and uncle of Dale, Patty, Diane, and Judy Henschel. Ginny Haber, wife of Gary Haber, mother of Tracy McCarthy and Jason Haber, sister of Jerry Fisher, sister-in-law of Jeffrey and Anne Marie Haber, and aunt of Danny Haber. James Stone, husband of Roberta Stone and mother of Tammy Stone and Pam Stone. Harold Kleinman, grandfather of our cantor Amanda Kleinman. We also call to mind all those for whom this evening marks the anniversary of their death. Doris Atkind, Burton Breitkopf, Edith Carlin, Jenny Casper, Ruth Chipournoy, Ralph Chipournoy, Richard Mernitt, Nigel Cross, Seymour Estrin, Esther Friedman, Mosley Geverts, Neil Gorin, Betty Gross, Jennifer Guberman, Eleanor Guggenheimer, Florence Hoffman, Karen Jane Jolson, Samuel Kaplan, Jacob Koretsky, Joel Kruppman, Minnie Last, Zelda Levere, Pearl Levy, Sylvia Lieb, Laverne Luke, Howard Marcovici, Lisa Mariam, Howard Manel, Edith Mintz, Paula Nelson, Harry Pastor, Julius Peretz, Martin Reifel, Arthur Rylander, Gertrude Rodman, Henry Rogers, Judith Rosenzweig, Sybil Ross, Bill Schneider, Clarice Schneider, Sidney Schloss, Jr., Sandra Siegel, Robert Simon, Sarah Sternman, Joan Tucker, Mike Weisfeld, May Wiesen, Laura Zweigel. If there are any additional names, as well as those that I may have inadvertently pronounced, please do share these names at this time. May we come together in support of our mourners, in sympathy and in fellowship. The Mourner's Cottage can be found on page 598 in our prayer book. Yitgadal v'yitkadash me rabbah, be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv ve'yimru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivarach, le'olam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei kudsha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'elma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael ve'el kol yoshvei tevel. Ose shalom bimeromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru. Amen. You may be seated. This time, it is my pleasure to invite up our congregation president, Warren Haber, with some announcements. You can stand close to me and you can speak into my microphone, and then we'll, please.
If you can't hear me, raise your hand. Thank you for joining us on this chilly evening. Some quick announcements. First, I'd like to thank Michael Rahimi again for serving as our greeter. Torah study is at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and in person or via Zoom.
In the CJL.
CJL behind us. Next Sunday, please join us Sunday, October 9th for our Sukkot block party with a bunch of food trucks and festivities. And then on Monday, October 10th at 10 a.m., we have our Sukkot festival service. On Wednesday, October 12th, RAC New York is hosting a Climate Covenant Bond Act webinar at 7:30 p.m. Our very own Rabbi Blake on Thursday, October 13th is offering a deep reading of Prepare Vote. The WRJ is hosting a Sukkot Harvest celebration on Thursday, October 13th. And then we have the following weekend, Sukkot and Simchat Torah celebration from Friday, October 14th through the Sunday. And last, but certainly not least, is Rabbi Citron's installation and consecration of our newest learners in Simchat Torah on Sunday, October 16th. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shana tova, Shabbat shalom. Thank you so much, Warren. Thank you. Before we conclude for the evening, should we make Kiddush and Motzi, and then we'll do some singing to send us on our way?
Yeah, sure. However you want to do it. Or we can do. Why don't we do the singing first, and then we'll do Kiddush and Motzi afterward.
That's
then we can just go eat after that.
That sounds great. That sounds great.
Please rise. These words for Shabbat Shuvah. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha, return us unto you. V'nashuva, and we shall return. Chadesh Yamenu Kekedem, make our days like they used to be. Together.
Hashivenu, Hashivenu, Adonai Elecha,
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tefilah mikrai kodesh zecher nitziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. before we say a blessing for all that sustains us, may we say a quick thank you to all those who sustain the happening of our service and all programs in our congregation through these days of awe, with the amazing efforts being taken by our AV team, by our musical team, by our facilities team. A big thank you to Todd Cronier and Zoe Fuentes for being with us this evening for AV, for our facilities team, for Tim Wagner, Luis Vera, and Al Betancourt with us this evening. And of course, to our greeters, again, Mike Rahimi and Lisa Vega, thank you so much. And of course, to our incomparable conductor and musical director, Pete Malinverni, thank you.
Here, here. And here, here. A challah that is round, exactly in keeping with this Sabbath of turning around. Let's join together and give thanks. If you feel moved to and comfortable with the idea of putting your arm around a person you're close to, let's sing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'tevon. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shana tova. Gemar chatima tova.